Hi guys. Hi everyone. Uh, can I get a quick confirmation in the chat box regarding the sounds? Am I loud and clear for you people? Yes, good. So last week we started the chapter correction of errors. So I told you errors can happen in different stages in the counting process. Errors can happen when you are preparing the prime entry books. Errors can happen when you are preparing the ledger accounts. Errors can happen when you are taking the closing balances of ledger accounts. Errors can happen when you are preparing the trial balance. Then we learn these errors. Certain errors are there where you will not be able to find it through the trial balance. That means trial balance is balancing. It is agreeing. So we will call those kind of errors as errors that does not reflect from the trial balance. The errors which will not have an impact on the agreement of the trial balance. And then I told you there are certain errors where you can find it through the trial balance itself. That means whether there is an error or not, that particular indication will happen through the trial balance itself because trial balance is not balanced. So I told you, don't ever think just because your trial balance is balancing, your accounts are correct. Not like that. Even your trial balance balances, your accounts can be wrong. Then we learn certain situations where even the trial balance is balancing, there can be certain mistakes in your accounts. First one we learn the complete omission. Complete omission means you have completely missed a transaction. So in order to correct it, I told you simply record the transaction. And second one we learn you have recorded everything properly, but with the wrong amounts. Double entry, everything properly recorded with the wrong amount. Instead of 20,000, you have recorded 2,000. So in order to correct it, you have to make the relevant adjustment to take the wrong amount into the correct. Then the third one that we learn, the same transaction recorded 2 times. So if that's the case, in order to correct it, we have to reverse one transaction. Fourth one we learn, instead of one account, you have recorded it in a different account. We'll assume instead of maybe a purchase account, you have recorded it in the furniture. So if that's the case, in order to correct it, what we should do, remove from the wrong account and record it in the correct account. Remove from the wrong account and record it in the correct account. So these are the things that we learned in our previous class lab. Now let's get into the question number 2. Question number 2, what they are telling. An apprentice bookkeeper has prepared a trial balance on 31st March 20x6 and says that it is not necessary to check again the accounts as the both balances of debit column and credit column is agreeing, is balancing. What this bookkeeper is telling, we are not required to check the accounts again. We can directly prepare the final financial statements because trial balance is balancing Mahathir. Can we follow what he is telling? He is telling no need to check the accounts again. There are no errors because trial balance is balancing. That's what he is telling. That's what he is telling. So can we agree for his statement? We can't. We can't agree for his statement because we learn even the trial balance balances, there are certain errors. There are certain errors where you will still have. Those kind of errors will not have an impact on the agreement. That means the debit column and credit column total will be the same. That's what we learned last week, people. So write the answer. Question 2. We cannot agree with the statement because there are accounting. So if we make a mistake while marking down transaction, that means when you are preparing the accounts for the school term test exam, and if you find out later there is a mistake and correcting it in a way as a correction of errors without erasing and writing, something like that. No, no, no. Now we'll assume they're asking you to prepare the purchase journal, sales journal, okay, and cash book. They're asking you to prepare, and they're asking you to prepare the D accounts, and they have given some transactions. So mistakenly, the transaction that they have given in the question, you have missed one. Later, you found it. Now you are asking me, can we correct it as a correction of error for exam purpose? No. The mistake that you did, you have to erase it and do it properly. Okay, Yunus? Because there are accounting errors which will not reflect from trial balance. Which means even with the errors, total of the debit side and credit side will be the same in trial balance. Following are certain situations for the above. First one, complete omission. Complete omission means you have completely missed a transaction. Second one, recorded the transaction properly with incorrect values. With incorrect values. Recorded the same transaction twice. Recorded the entry in a different account instead of relevant account instead of relevant account. Once you all are done, just let me know, people. Done? Done, Delamai. Shall we move to the next question? Done. Now let's do the next question, Lamai. Question number 3. Question 3. Even though total of the trial balance prepared by the business as at 31st December 2000 XX agree means what's the meaning of that? Debit total of debit and the total of the credit of the trial balance is same. It's balancing. It's agree. Following errors were identified. They are asking us to write the journal entries to correct the above errors. A purchase invoice of 20,000 has been completely omitted. You tell me the correction entry, Lama. A purchase invoice of 20,000 has been completely omitted, completely missed. Then in order to correct it, what we should do simply, I told you, record the entry. Simply record the entry. Then first one, it's a purchase invoice of 20,000. Purchase invoice of 20,000 has been completely omitted. Completely, you have missed that particular transaction. So debit the purchase account, credit the creditor account. What is the value? 20,000. Second one. A computer bought for office use for the cost of 40,000 has been debited to the purchase account. So what is the original way of recording, Lamai, this one? What they have done? You see what they have done here. The computer bought for office use costing 40,000 has been debited to the purchase account. Then what you have done is you have debited to the purchase account, you have credited the cash. Like what we did last week here. Instead of one account, you have recorded it in a different account. Instead of one account, you have recorded here like this only. So I'll write the mistake first. Mistake. Debited the purchase account 40,000. Credited the cash account 40,000. Okay, no? So if I prepare the P accounts, this is the purchase account. This is the cash account. Here you have debited 40,000. Here you have credited 40,000. Now people, this is what purchase you see, will you? A computer, no? Computer, no? Computers will not be recorded in the purchase account. In the purchase account, we have to write only the stock, not the computers. Then in order to correct it, what we should do, Lamai? So this is correct. Remove from the purchase account. Remove from the purchase account and put it to the computer account. Put it to the computer account. 40,000. Remove from the purchase account, put it to the computer account. Then correction. Debit the computer account. Credit the purchase account. 40,000. So you also use two different colors, people. Then later when you are studying, Zakir, I didn't get your question properly. First adjustment. Okay. So actually, it's a good question. So Zakir is asking Lamai, sir, why did you credit it for the creditor account? Why did you credit it for the creditor account? Purchase invoice of 20,000 has been completely omitted from the books of accounts. කොහොමද sir කියන්නේ ඔක credit purchase එකක් කියලා? It can be cash purchase. That's the question, right, Zakir? It can be a cash purchase. Why did I take it as a credit purchase? Only because of this reason. Purchase invoices. Purchase invoice is a source document for what transactions, Zakir? Tell me. Purchase invoice is a source document for what transaction? Purchase journal. In purchase journal, what kind of transaction we are recording? credit purchase. Good question, huh? Good. Very good question. Okay. Now let's move to the next one, Lama. Payment of electricity 5,000 erroneously debited to insurance account. Now let's see what is the mistake that you have done, Lama. Mistake. Third one, nah? Mistake. You have debited to the insurance account. How much is the value? 5,000. And you have credited the cash account. 5,000. So what is the mistake, lamai? Electricity අපිට insurance එකට දාන්න බෑනේ. Electricity, how we can write it in the insurance? Electricity, how we can write it in the insurance? This is the mistake that you have done. Insurance account. Cash account. You have recorded 5,000 here and 5,000 here. So people recording 5,000 in the cash account, not a problem. Cash is going out, Nilamai. But it is a what payment, you see? Electricity payment. So electricity payment, we can't put it to insurance, Nilamai. So remove from the insurance account. Put it to the electricity account. Put it to the electricity account, 5,000. Then what's the correction? Correction. Debit the electricity account 5,000. Credit the insurance account 5,000. Credit the insurance account 5,000. Once you all are done, just let me know, people. So you also can use two different colors. Huh? Red color for the mistake, green color for the correction. Not in the exam, for the writing. Harida, done. Now let's move to the next one. That is also done. Huh? Withdrawal of goods 12,000 by the owner for his personal use, not being recorded in the books. That means it's a complete omission. Complete omission, very simple. Lamai, record the entry. So you tell me the entry. You tell me what's the double entry should be. If owner takes any resource, he can take money, he can take laptop, he can take goods, anything for his personal use, we will call it as drawings. Drawings. So simply record the entry. Debit, drawings, Why drawings are debit? Drawings is a reduction of equity account. Drawings is a reduction of equity. Equity reduction debit. What's the value? 12,000. No. And since he is taking the stock in your double entry system, Lamai, everyone tell me stock is there inside which account? In double entry system, stock is there inside which account? Inside the purchase account. So purchase account is decreasing. Purchase account is decreasing. Purchase account increases debit, decreases credit. 12,000. 12,000. So people, we are done with that particular question. So they are just asking you to write the journal entries. So we wrote the journal entries. Now let's move to the second part of this chapter. What is the second part? Accounting errors that affect the agreement of the trial balance. Now in all the previous questions that we discussed, Lamai, debit column and credit column is total is same, even you have certain errors. So when you look at the trial balance, you will feel like your accounts are correct. You will feel like your accounts are correct, but it can be wrong. It can be wrong because we learn there can be certain errors. Where even your trial balance is balancing. Even your trial balance is balancing. There can be errors. Trial balance balance but still වැරදි. So when you look at the trial balance, you can't find those mistakes. Trial balance බලපුවම ඔක පේන්නේ නැහැ. Error එකක් තියෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා. You can't find it. You can't get an indication whether there are any errors or not. But certain errors are there. When you look at the trial balance itself, you will be able to tell, okay, Machang, in your accounts, there is a mistake. You will be able to tell. So let me take an example for you to understand that one. Listen carefully. So we'll assume this is a trial balance. Okay. Debit, credit. We have some cash. We'll assume 100,000. Capital 150,000. And we'll assume sales are there 80,000. And maybe purchase are there 50,000. And we'll assume few debtors are there 30,000 or 40,000. Debtors are there 60,000. Now you take the total of the trial balance, Laman. Take the total. When you take the total, now you see here, credit side total is 230. Debit side total is 210. Trial balance is balancing or not? Tell me. Trial balance is balancing or not? Not balancing. So when you look at this one, For the first site, you will be able to tell, Majan, your accounts are wrong. Not like the previous. Previous one, even you see the trial balance, you will not be able to tell whether the accounts are correct or not. Here, it's not like that. When you look at the trial balance, accounts are wrong because trial balance is not balancing. No? Trial balance is not balancing. So what is the missing value? In the debit side, a 20,000 is missing. In the debit side, a 20,000 is missing. So this 20,000 missing value temporary basis, for temporary basis, we will put it into a account line just to balance the trial balance. For temporary basis, we'll put it to an account. That account we'll call it as suspense account. That account we'll call it as suspense account. So suspense account is an account, people. Suspense account is an account where we will record the missing value in trial balance temporarily. It's just temporarily, yeah? Temporarily until we correct the errors. So suspense account is just a temporary account where that missing value we will write and keep in the suspense account until we correct the errors. Then you just think and tell me, Lamai. Just think and tell me. හොඳට ඔළුව පාවිච්චි කළා කියන්න. In suspense account, we are just writing and keeping that missing value temporarily, until we correct the errors. Then after we correct all the errors, mistakes, can we have a balance in the suspense account? Can we have a suspense account? Huh? Can we have a balance in the suspense account? Or can we have a suspense account once we correct all the errors? We cannot have a suspense account. So once we correct all the errors, suspense account should be 0. We will have to remove it. We will have to remove it. It will become 0 after we correct all the errors. Once you correct all the errors, your suspense account should be 0. So that's what here I have given Lamai. When there is a difference between total of the debit and the credit balances in the trial balance, that difference should be recorded temporarily into account called suspense account until such errors are identified and corrected. After we identify the errors and mistakes, after we correct it, suspense account එක නැත්තරම නැති වෙලා යන්න ඕනේ. Suspense account should be eliminated. Suspense account should be 0. There cannot be any value in the suspense account. So in this situation, this 20,000, what we will do, Lamai, temporarily we will put and keep in the suspense account. Like this 20,000 එකක් suspense එකේ temporarily දාලා තියෙනවා. So write down this one, Lamai, the red color note. Write down the red color note. Quickly write it in your tube. Quickly write this red color note in your tube. Done. Good. So quickly prepare a trial balance for this. Now you have to tell me, yeah? Cash account. Cash account is a debit account or credit account. ඉක්සලම කියන්න cash is what for the business? Asset or liability or income or expense? What? It is an asset. Asset accounts are debit. Debit accounts. Expense කියලා දීලම තියෙනවනේ. Expenses are debit account. So you know assets and expenses are debit accounts. General, yeah. Then equity, liability, income. These are what accounts? Credit accounts. These are credit accounts. So if you can't remember, just write it somewhere. When we are doing the double entries and accounting equation, we learn these things. Equity, liability, income. These are credit accounts. Sales is income for the business. Income is a credit account. Purchase is what account for the business? Purchase. Purchase is what account for the business? Purchase. It's an expense for the business. Huh? I told you in double entry system, purchase of the stock is an expense. Don't forget, huh? In double entry system, in accounting equation, purchase of the stock is asset. That is only in accounting equation chapter. After that, when it's come to the double entry system, purchase of stock is an expense. Expense. Capital is equity account, credit. Motor vehicle is asset account, debit. Bank loan is a liability account, credit. Drawings is what account? Drawings is a what account? Asset or expense or income or liability or equity what? Drawings. Drawings is reduction of equity. I have told 1,000 times. I have given notes also everywhere. Drawings is not expense. Expense means cost incurred by the business. Drawings is something done by the owner. ඕනගේ මගුල් අපේ expense වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So drawings is a reduction of equity. Do not forget it. Reduction of equity debit. Increase of equity credit, decrease of equity debit. This is an asset account, debit. Electricity expense, expense account, debit. So දඩෝං ගාලා trial balance එකක් ගහන්න බලන්න ළමයි. ටක් ගාලා. Cash, transport, expense, sales, purchase capital, motor vehicle, bank loan, drawings, equipment, electricity. So just keep one line and balance it lamai. Extra line එකක් තියලා balance කරන්න. Keep one extra line and balance it. Cash is asset account, so it is debit. Transport expense is an expense account, so it is debit. Sales is an income account, therefore it is credit. Purchase is an expense account, therefore it is debit. Capital is equity account, therefore it is credit. Motor vehicle is an asset account, therefore it is debit. Bank loan is a liability account, therefore it is credit. Drawings is a reduction of equity account. Drawings is reduction of equity account, therefore it is debit. Equipment is an asset account, therefore it is debit. Electricity expense account, therefore it is debit. Now you take a pencil and tell me the total, write the total of the debit side and the credit side. Take a pencil and write. What's the total of the debit side and credit side? What is the total of debit side and credit side? Tell me separately. Debit side 895. Credit side 900. Can someone confirm it? Can someone confirm it? $895 and 900. Yes. Good. Now, people, from this question, you can understand trial balance is not balancing. Why? Why not balancing? There are mistakes. එච්චරයි කතාව. Why trial balance is not balancing? Because there are mistakes. That's why it is not balancing. So this is an example you see. When you look at the trial balance, you can understand there are mistakes in the accounts. In previous examples, it was not like that. So write the bigger value for both the sides, Lama. Write the bigger value, 900,000, 900,000. So in the debit side, a 5,000 is missing. In the debit side, 5,000 is missing. So this debit side 5,000 missing temporarily api koheda liyanne. temporary basis, where are we recording the 5,000 which is missing? The 5,000 which is missing, temporarily we will write it in the suspense account. So suspense account ekut ඇඳ ගන්නකො ළමයි ඔහොම. Just draw a suspense account. Debit side 5,000 from trial balance. From trial balance. Once you all are done, just let me know, people. Okay. Now let's do the question number 5. Following are the totals of debit and credit balances of the trial balance. Ayyo, simple question ne lamai. What is this? Baba question they have given. Debit side total, credit side total. Debit side they have 545. Credit side they have 520. So I told Nolamai, write the bigger value for both the sides. Write the bigger value for both the sides. 545, 545. Now people, credit side you have only 520 ne lamai. Here you have 545. Here you have 520. That means in the credit side, a 25 is missing. Missing 25,000. So that missing 25,000 temporarily. Temporarily, we will put it to the suspense account. So for the suspense account, we have to put 25,000 to the credit side because it is coming to the credit side. In the suspense account, we have a balance of 25,000 from trial balance. From trial balance. From trial balance. So if you people are done, just let me know, people. Done. Now let's see what kind of transactions will lead to these kind of problems. These kind of problems means the problems which will lead to debit total and credit total is not same. The problems which will lead to debit total and credit total not same. So let's take one by one. Here I have given you 5. I have given you 5. Let's take one by one and we'll do the correction. They're asking us to do the correction using a general journal, but general ledger, sorry. Not general ledger. Should be general journal. Change it, Lama. It's not general ledger. It should be general journal. So before recording it in the general journal, let's get the proper learning. That's the important part of this chapter, people. How to do the corrections. Now here what has happened? First one. Payment of telephone charges 15,000 has been recorded only in the cash book. Question number 6. Question 6. So what is the mistake? You have paid the telephone bill, but only recorded in the cash book. So debit entry is missing. Missing. You have recorded only the credit entry. Cash account. How much is that? 15,000. Now, if you prepare trial balance from this, trial balance, which is a wrong. Debit, credit. Debit side, you have nothing because you have missed it. You have missed it. Credit side, you have the cash, which is 15,000. Now, if you balance this trial balance, Lamai, if you balance this trial balance, yes, now for the learning purpose, just draw it. Now, for the time being, listen up. For the time being, listen. After that, when you're writing, write everything. For the exam, what you should do is, they have given here. Just record it in the general journal. So if they say for you to record it in the general journal, no need to prepare T accounts and me. That means ledgers and me. Okay. So now you see here you have 15,000, debit side nothing. Then people, debit side to become 15,000, 15,000 is missing. No? So temporarily we will put it to the suspense. So the mistake that you have done, you have just credited to the cash account. Debit entry is missing. You have just credited to the cash account, which is 15,000. So as a result of that, what happened? A suspense account got created. As a result of that, a suspense account got created. A debit balance of 15,000 came to suspense. Now let's do the correction. Now we found this mistake. So people, if you have not recorded it, to record what you should do, to correct it, what you should do, simply record it. Correction. Yeah, record kala nahe. You have not recorded the debit entry. Simply record it. How much is the value? Telephone charges 15,000. So telephone charges account 15,000. But lamai. Accounting means double entry. No? Accounting means double entry, not a single entry. For which account are you going to credit that 15,000? We debited. And we recorded properly in the telephone account. Telephone charges account. We properly recorded the 15,000. Accounting means double entry, lamai. So you have to credit it to the suspense. 15,000. Now you see, mama kiyapu de unada kiyala. After we correct the error, what happened to the suspense? 15,000 to 15,000 got cancelled off. Suspense became 0. Cancelled off. That's what I told here. Once we correct all the errors, suspense account should be 0. No balance should be there in the suspense. We can remove it. Now this is the corrected trial balance now. Debit, credit, trial balance, corrected. So no balance is there in the suspense. Debit to 15,000, credit 15,000 will get cancelled off. So telephone charges account, cash account, you have 15,000. Telephone charges account, you have 15,000. Now your trial balance is balanced. 15,000, 15,000. That's it. Write this down, level. Everything. Later we'll record it in the general journal. First write it. uh, there are two missing link. Not necessarily, Zakir. If there are two entries missing, you can record the two entries which is missing separate. Then in the suspense, you have a clear picture. In suspense, you have a clear picture. So if there are two entries missing, record the both the entries missing separately. Don't take the total length. Better to write it separate. We'll be doing questions. Don't worry. Okay? Ah, no, 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 no. You asked like that. No, 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 no. In the same suspense account. In the same suspense account. In the same suspense account, show two different transactions. Okay? So we'll be doing. Big questions we'll be doing. Don't worry. So for the correction, write down people. If a transaction is recorded only in one account in order to correct it, record the missing value to the relevant account and other value to suspense account. Okay. Shall we move to the next one? Second one. If you are writing, let me know, people. If you are writing, let me know. Second one. What is the second one? Making one double entry with the correct value, other entry with the wrong value. Let's get the understanding from this question. So mistake. You see what you have done. Cash sales 54,000 has been debited correctly. Debit cash account 54,000 correctly. And has been credited incorrectly to the sales account 45,000. Credited to the sales account 45,000, which is the wrong thing. So if you prepare a trial balance, you see what might have happened. Debit, credit, trial balance, wrong. So in the cash account, you have 54,000. And in the sales account, you have 45,000. So it is not balancing. A 9,000 is missing in the credit side. A 9,000 is missing in the credit side. So that missing value, temporarily we will put it to the suspense account. Temporarily we will put it to the suspense account. Temporary. So we will temporarily open a suspense account. Suspense. How much is that? Credit side 9,000 from trial balance. Now you are finding this error, Laman. Now you are finding this error. Then in order to correct it, what you should do, Lamai? A 9,000 missing in the sales account. A 9,000 missing in the sales account. So if you take what you have done here, let me draw those two accounts also. For the cash account, you have written 54,000. For the sales account, you have written only 45,000. Because of this, a suspense got created. Because of this, a suspense got created from trial balance 9,000. Then people understand a 9,000 is missing in the sales account. So credit that 9,000. Credit sales account 9,000. But people, accounting means double entry, no? Accounting means double entry. Then where is the debit? Zakir, correct. Where is the debit? Debit will go to the suspense account. Debit will go to the suspense account. 9,000. Now you see, yeah? Now you see. What happened? Suspense became 0. This amount to this amount got eliminated. Suspense became 0. Now you see in your sales account, you have 54,000. So if you prepare a corrected trial balance corrected. Debit side, credit side. Cash debit side, you have 54,000. Sales credit side, you have 54,000 after the correction. So trial balance is nicely balancing without a suspense. Trial balance is nicely balancing without a suspense. ඕක තමයි කතාව. Then if one entry recorded with correct value and other entry recorded with wrong value. Wrong value. In order to correct it, do the necessary adjustment, get the wrong value to the correct value, and other entry to the suspense account, and other entry to the suspense account. So this is the correction entry. Correction entry. Correction entry. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Recording the double entries of a transaction in the same side of the accounts. So let's get that understanding from this particular adjustment. Let's see what's the mistake that you have done. Mistake. Cash received 5,000 from debtors has been debited to the both the cash account and the debtors account. So you have debited to the cash account 5,000, debited to the debtors account 5,000. So debit into the cash account 5,000 is fine. This is wrong, Nilamai. Ideally, you should credit to the debtors account. When you get money from the debtors are giving you money. No? So we have to reduce the balances. No? Reducing the balances means asset is decreasing. Data asset is decreasing. Data asset decreases should be a credit record. Here what you have done, you have debited it. You have debited it. So what has happened? You have debited to the cash account 5,000 and you have debited again to the debtors account 5,000. 5,000. Ideally, you should credit to the debtors account. So as a result of this, you see what has happened. Huh? As a result of this, you see what has happened. Good. Zakir correct. Debit, credit, trial balance, wrong. Debited the cash account 5,000, credited the debited the debtor account 5,000. That means people, this is not balancing. So a 10,000 will come to the suspense. 10,000. For the suspense account, credit side, a 10,000 will come. You have written it in the credit side. Suspense account. Don't write. I'll give you time to write. People. From trial balance. So in order to correct it, what you should do, Lam, I think. First, we have to remove this mistake 5,000. The debit amount, you have to remove it first. Then you have to record the correct amount. If you just write only 5,000 wrong, that 5,000 to this 5,000 will get removed, cancelled off. Am I bad? Debtors account should get credited 5,000. So then that entry is where. So this 5,000 is to cancel off the debit that you put. Then where is the correct 5,000? The real reduction 5,000. So in total, you have to credit 10,000. Debit ko ahead the debit suspense 10,000. Debit suspense 10,000. So you see 10,000 to 10,000 getting cancelled off. Suspense is 0. And what's the correction? Correction debit suspense account 10,000. Credit the debtors account 10,000. Now we'll prepare the corrected trial balance. Lama. You see, yeah, in the current part, trial balance corrected. Debit, credit. So cash account, you have cash, debit 5,000. If you take debtors account, this 5,000 to this 5,000 getting cancelled off. So remaining only 5,000 you have in the credit side. Debtor 5,000. So 5,000 to 5,000. Trial balance is getting balanced without a suspense. So we corrected all the ones. Then if a transaction is recorded in same side of both the accounts, in order to correct it, record a double value in the opposite side. Record the double value in the opposite side and other entry to the suspects. And other entry to the suspects. Then people, today we learned 3 new things. What are the 3 things? First one, if it is recorded only in the one account by missing the other account, simply record it. In order to correct it, simply record it to the relevant account, other entry to the suspense account. Second one we learned, you have recorded a wrong value. So if you have recorded a wrong value, you have to make the necessary adjustment to take it to the correct value and other entry to the suspense account. And third one we learned, if you have recorded one transaction, same side of the both the accounts. So if that's the case, in order to correct it, the account which is got recorded wrongly, to the opposite side, you have to put the double the value, and the same value should be recorded in the suspense account in the other side. So I have given you the complete picture. Mistaken entry, if it is mistaken, how the trial balance will look like, how the T accounts will look like, after you correct the entry, how to correct the entry, how the trial balance will look like, how your T accounts will look like, and what you should do to do the correction. Everything I have given. So another two more are there, people. Let's do it next week. Tata. Bye.